All right, everybody. So bad news. This was going to be my first take. Unfortunately, it is not. More like my third take. But as it were, I was trying to record this, and I ended up not having my desktop audio being recorded. So there's your excuse. I did a whoopsie. So here we go. Let's do it again. Third time's the charm.
Peggy 16.
Pure and radiant, he wields love to shrive clean the hearts of men.
Talking about Mikola. There's Mikola.
There is nothing more terrifying.
So I want to get something into everyone's heads as we keep going. This DLC gives me big dream vibes. Just due to the fact that I think this is some kind of Michelin dream, or Michelin realm that is made here that we're traveling to, and I don't know. I just wanted to get that idea of this being some kind of dream in because I don't know if that's just how Elden Ring is designed because it very much feels dreamy, but that's just what I see here personally. Also, I'm very happy to see that this is a new world space they're making, and it's not the lands between and forward. At least I don't believe so. So again, it makes you wonder. This is definitely not the Erdtree, and I think this is Mikola's Hylic tree, ideally, um, according to Mikola, because I believe this is some kind of dream he's in. Either that, or again, maybe not ideally. Maybe this is some kind of strange bastardization of it by some guy we'll see later on. Trailer. New armor set. Happy to see it. Fashion Souls wins yet again. Another thing I wanted to bring up. I think that thing on the right maybe might be our new sign of grace or side of grace. Um, just throwing that one out there because I figured why not. I doubt it, but it very well could be. Love the Roman Greek style of this armor set here. The weapon reminded me of the gargoyles blades earlier. Um, yeah, just looking good, looking good.
In that forsaken place.
This might be our newest heaviest armor in the game. That is, if you can kill the guy wearing it and take it. Um, Pot he's got right there makes me think that later on we're going to definitely be able to use that pot. Uh, I think he's going to be the one to sell you on how to make those pots. We'll see later on in the trailer that we get to see him, or get to see Tarnished throwing a wonderful big pot at somebody. So this is the guy you learned that from. Again, Michelin type enemy, just dead. Um, Reminds me of the enemies in Sekiro in the palace. Shoot, can't quite remember the name, but
Blood must spill.
again, listening to the audio in the background, it's saying, "Oh, you must spill the blood of your brothers," and such. And I think that a lot of this is going down to just basically. It sounds a lot like Volcano Manor, and I'll tell you why that's important a little bit.
Of your fellow.
This royalty right here reminds me of the. At least I assume it's some kind of royalty, given the throne they're sitting on. Reminds me a lot of the Shivering Isles DLC for Oblivion, with a certain royalty you'd have to deal with in that.
The Erdtree.
This right here, Miyazaki loves swamps. That's all I'm gonna say.
Faithful.
More big pots, you love to see it. This reminds me a lot of, very, very much so, of the Iron Keep in Dark Souls 2. And I think that it's just the industrial machinery and the iron and the lava. I really do like this design. It feels very out of place in a very knight-like fantasy game, which I love.
You'll never.
Again, looks very dreamlike, very beautiful. These pillars over here are, I feel like, again, a lot of things are kind of hinting to me that this has something to do with Rykard that we didn't really think about. Because these pillars are the same in his throne room in Volcano Manor. So
Saints. They just happen to be.
again, some kind of giant golem boss. This is what I'm calling this for now until we actually get to fight it. Just because it reminds me of those giant burning golems you'll find in the grave, right at the top of the lift of Dectus. Reminds me of those guys. Just again, scale and fire and all that stuff. Or it could be some kind of another thing I speculated was a some type of crucible aspect because again, it's well, look at it. I'm also noticing here. I didn't see this before, but now I'm seeing it. These look like hands sticking out of it. This actually, you know what? No, I'm an idiot. This is a Wicker Man. You ever seen that movie with Nicolas Cage in it? Yeah, this is some kind of giant Wicker Man, which might also be a construct of Reichardt's design because again, it's on fire. It looks like it's torturing people, so naturally, Reichard a little bit.
On the losing side of a war.
Another thing that makes you think about Reichard eating people, you know, this looks like some kind of worm face adjacent enemy that's gonna try to eat you. It's just going ham on treating this little Aryan Knight here like a Capri Sun, so it's unfortunate for him. Just don't get hit by the grab attack, I guess. Another thing, I speculated earlier that this kind of weird, almost drapery on the moon, something about Ronnie. Going back to what the tree looked like earlier, I'm pretty sure that this is just that same effect, just from a distance. Again, this guy I speculated earlier might have something to do with the Crucible, but the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm thinking this is something to do with Godwin. Just look here. The golden hair, number 1. Number 2, again, this also has a lot to do with the Crucible. All the horns on him that kind of poke out from his back. Again, the Crucible being everything that's kind of melded together. This orange piece right here looks a lot like Crucible metal. Here's what I'll just call the item, the stuff the Crucible armor is made out of. So, again, curious. Again, really scary, horrifying design. It's got two sets of teeth, and the mouth opens way too big. Another thing I mentioned earlier that I'm forgetting to re-mention. This reminds me a lot of the Wild Things from Where the Wild Things Are. So that's something else. Look at those baby blues. So this is not Deathblight. I'm like 90% sure, just given the fact that it has no traces of gold in it, which is pretty. You can tell it's Deathblight because it's got little bits of gold sticking out of it. So this is just him breathing rock, is what it looks like. So that's gotta be painful. Just doing, I guess, a lion cement truck. Again, back to that Godwin. Look at all this gold lightning. You know, it's not ancient dragon lightning, which is red. It's not frozen lightning, which is blue. This is gold lightning, which is Godwin's thing. And back to Reichard, right? There's nothing in my mind that screams Reichard more than his red little snake. And, you know, I don't know. You'll see later on how I feel like this is some kind of Reichard or dragon boss.
Mother, wouldst thou truly lord?
Doesn't that right there, exactly in that frame, look a lot like the Dragon Communion seal? I don't know. I get that vibe from this.
Ship sanction.
The wing, the vestigial wing coming off the side. I feel like this is some kind of Dragon Communion.
In one so bereft.
And there we go. I mean, look at the face.
So
The red hair, the snake on the helmet. I don't know. This guy definitely feels very Reichardy or very Dragon Communion.
bereft of light.
I said earlier this type of enemy is I feel like a crucible enemy. Whoopsie. The horns. This is going to be one of those tropes where, like, oh my god, every time Homer sees horns, he's going to say crucible. But I genuinely believe that here. Because these look like crucible horns. I think that's a new Ash of War, actually, right there. That I'm completely skipping over. Yeah, like the dive around and sidestep. So, hey, new Ash of War. Again, new weapon, I think. I think the Ash of War of this one is just throwing knives. They seem to do a good amount of stance damage, so that's good for all those rogue characters. And here we've got and the butterflies really give it away. This is, I feel like, another Scarlet Rot or a Rot incantation. Just through the butterflies, and again, it feels very Melania. Maybe you get this from, I don't know, Mikola's ideal version of Melania, who doesn't have the Rot. Who knows? There we go. You got some kicks, flying kicks. I'm loving that. So this right here, we've got a very martial arts Ashifor, which is going to be really fun because I imagine it does high stance damage because you're kicking someone in the face. And this knight right here, we'll see it later on. This twin blade, I think, reappears. But his armor and his helmet remind me a lot of the knights you'll find just around the lands between. Because it's a very long frog mouth helmet, and then you've also got a little shoulder, I guess a breast shield on there. So big pot, love to see it. This is what I think that guy earlier was teaching you how to do. So
I presume you too.
this right here, I love this armor set, very goth. But what I'm seeing here with the weapon is I'm pretty sure that this is going to be our Avalon, or our repeating crossbow, or Elden Ring, which is very exciting. Because now we can be even more annoying and people that's your kind of thing. It's not really mine, but I love the idea of standing across a boss room and killing something. So yeah, this will be fun.
Too keen to know. Just
So this is a strange thing right here that I'm having a hard time thinking about. It reminds me a lot of Dragon Communion, but at the same time, the bear's fur is red, and it's got horns growing out of it, so it definitely looks very Crucible. The animal itself looks Crucible. I think the incantation here is definitely some kind of dragon communion. And if you actually, if you look at VaatiVidya's lore videos, he goes into detail on why he thinks moon bears are turning into dragons. And he thinks it's mostly, and I agree, the eyes itself are the same yellow kind of slitted eyes that the tarnished get whenever you eat dragon hearts. So his theory, I guess, is being a little bit proven true here, because looks like this, I guess it's a bear communion, as I said earlier. So, bear communion. Again, we've got a completely new armor set this guy's wearing right here. He's got little chains coming off the sides. Looks very, very nice. Yeah, I mean, very excited for all the new drip, you know? Souls is eating good.
what kind Mikola is doing here.
Here we've got a new type of, I don't know, flowy Swordress enemy. Can't wait to block that with a great shield and stop all the momentum. But yeah, that's what's going on here. Reminds me a lot of the Blue Dancer charm, but ironically, if it was red. So that's just what I see. So here we've got Tree Sentinel with the boar with the Falling Star Beast. So I don't know if this guy's related in some way to Radon, because I see gravity magic happening, but it's just what I see. Yeah, will be interesting. Reminds me a lot of Norse mythology with the bull of Gulen bursting. So I wonder if that's one of the inspirations here. And here we've got the hippo. Wow, that thing's horrifying. So I think this is going to be new Crucible enemy, and you'll see why I think that later. Definitely, you're going to be picking up some kind of item, probably trash, and then it's going to grab you. I'm 90% sure. You'll be distracted, and this thing will get you, and it'll jump scare you. I feel it. And bingo. Aspect of the Crucible. I don't know, thorns. I guess is what we've got going on here. I'm very happy to see it. Crucible players are eating good, you know, and I happen to be one among them. So yeah. This here reminds me a lot of either the Godskin, or I think that's just the horse that's making me think Godskin. I love the little boomerang. That's beautiful. But I think that this guy is some kind of Noxstellan or something, or a knight sorcerer. Again, the little kind of black orb reminds me of the Moon of Noxtella. It also reminds me of the little kind of purple orb on the Godskin Apostle's chest. It's another thing to think about. I'm not gonna say reused asset because I know it's not. It looks a little different. It looks a lot more bloated. This looks a lot like Leonard. Is this Radon's skeleton we're fighting? That's something I just thought about.
Those stripped.
We got a guy who was told he wasn't 6 foot tall, so now he's got to pull his neck a little bit, and make himself a little taller.
Of the great of
That was awful.
gold shadow.
So here we've got Rykard again with his big snake around him. I'm just gonna call him Rykard for now without a better term because he feels like it. Dragon Communion Rykard.
Death.
And so here we get to see, and I think this is attached to the Twin Blade, which is, I mean, it's okay. They had to do it with something that wasn't like you can't really do the. You'll just see.
In the embrace of Lesmus.
So again, we've got very much like a spear rain with fire, and it's very orange fire, making me think about what's his name, Rykard again, the magma, yeah, again, got a little snake. I feel like we as the community should come up with a name for this snake, and I'm starting with Jake. Jake the Snake. That's what I'm calling him.
Come now.
So again, he's using a double shield, which has some kind of spike on the end. I'm 90% sure that's based off of something in history. I just can't remember exactly what. Yeah, into his foot. Nope, grab it.
And travel to the realm
Thrown into the air. Yep.
of shadow.
I wonder, actually, the more I'm thinking about it, is this the Fell God from Fire Giants? There's a lot of fire. I don't know. I'm jumping all over the place here. But again, woohoo! I assume this is attached to the Twin Blade aspect of the Crucible Wings. We finally got it, boys. But I think it's attached to this Twin Blade, which is not Crucible colored. Because I don't see any kind of talisman in this guy's hands. So I'm assuming it's attached to the weapon. It's an Ash of War of some kind, though. I mean, hey, I'm happy we finally got it, but it's just a little sad that the only way I can use this is by using a non-Crucible colored weapon, which is gonna clash really bad. But hey, that's Fashion Souls talking. Maybe that's the shield. Maybe the shield's doing that. Maybe I'll have a new shield. Who knows?
Not be far behind. May we meet again.
There we go. Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree. Got Mikola. Say, look at my tree. They goofed it up. Here we go. 21st of June, 2024. Here we go. There you go. that's what's going on. Good stuff. Thank you, IGN, and most especially thank you, Software, for handing this out. I can't wait, man. Literally, I don't want to wait, but yeah, that's what's new coming. So very happy about that. In conclusion, just to kind of run it by again, very excited. I'm happy to see a lot of the Crucible stuff going on with this character, or not this character, with this DLC. As a Crucible player, I'm going to be eating good, so good stuff. That's one of the areas of Elden Ring they didn't really delve too far into, so I'm happy to see some more of that. Yeah, just it's good money. All right, that'll be all. See ya.